Good evening, everybody. Hopefully you are here and joining us on this lovely Monday evening. Today it is all about sneaky peeks. Now I know, I have a feeling last week I told you we would be celebrating our stockist launch. I might have told you that, but I forgot. It is time this evening for a sneaky peek for our lovely, wonderful world of woodware. But do not fear, tomorrow evening we have a bonus live. I will be back once again and we will be doing a stockist launch celebration for the brand new Shabby Chic collection. I'll remind you of this many times throughout this evening. If you're into your drinking games, it could even be your drinking game phrase of the evening. But of course we're not encouraging that. Maybe we could do that with tea or Coke, something a little bit more friendly. Of course, if you are joining us this evening, could you let us know that you can see us and you can hear us? It is always our first question of the evening. Are we loud and clear, and can you see us and can you hear us? Because if you can't, we're possibly wasting our time and just waffling away in a little room all to ourselves. We tell you this every week, don't we? So if you are joining us, please do let us know that you can hear and see us. While I check in on your comments, let's jump on over to see if Peter is in the building today and if he's been well behaved. It's a 50-50 chance. It's been a long day. He hasn't always been on his best behaviour. That's all I'm saying. Let's see what he's up to at the moment. Are you with us, Peter?
See, who do we believe on that one? That's the question.
He has been mighty mischievous today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on tonight's Monday night Natter. And you get us tomorrow night as well, you lucky people. So, and I hope you all had a good day. Got some nice new goodies to share with you tonight, haven't we, James?
Nice new goodies. We do have some nice new goodies. We have some exciting new goodies. Okay, so now we've checked in with mischievous Pete, who I am sure will cause more problems throughout the evening than a little if today is anything to go by. Should we just check in and see who's with us so far? So good evening, Emma. Good evening, Kim. Good evening, Porsche, Kathleen, Mary. Hadrian's Hobbies, lovely to have you with us. I see that you're rather excited to see Woodware's new releases with us. Good evening, Woodware. All the power and amazement of technology. That's got to be our lovely Francoise under our Woodware name, I would imagine, this evening. Good evening, May. Good evening, Mavis, Samantha, Sue, Lynn, Bev. It is lovely to have you all here. Oh, Laura's watching. Laura is, of course, one of our DT members as well for Woodware. We have some very lovely cards from Laura to share. I say we have some very lovely cards. I have no idea. I've not seen them yet. They've been put on the shelf behind me and I've been very well behaved. I haven't even looked. So it'll be a surprise for me as well as for you lot. Good evening at the Paper and Ink Boutique. They are, of course, joining us live from Canada this evening. They are one of the many stockists I'll be telling you about that have got the new Shabby Chic collection launching tomorrow. Lovely to have you with us. What time is it in Canada? What time is it, do we reckon? We do this every time they join us. We really should have a memory of it. What we should have is clocks on the wall, shouldn't we?
We could.
We could have them little like, yeah. Oh, New York, London. We know London. London's about the only thing we do, kind of know. Honestly, the tangents, they're not good. Good evening, Samantha, Hazel, Joyce, Diane. Emma, there's a big question there. You might have to read that one out. Peter, check in with that one for me, please. Undercover, however, cover blown. Sorry, Woodware. Got to adopt you in already, haven't I? And see, it's not only Pete that can be just mischievous. Good evening, Lee and Pippa and Diane. There's loads of you. Thank you very much for joining us. You don't want to keep hearing me say good evening, do you? Because that's going to get pretty boring pretty quickly. So let's tell you about some of the bits I have got to tell you about, because there's lots of exciting news to tell you about this evening. Now, not only do we have a very, 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 very exciting Woodware launch with the return of Norman. Very excited about that. Dreams do come true. Norman is back. Very, 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 very happy. We'll take you through those shortly, I promise. But before we move on to what's new, we need to celebrate something that's just ended. It's ended, Peter. The January competition has closed. We have left January behind. We have moved steadily into February. I can hear you joyously celebrate from here, because I think January is definitely the longest month that we all endure, but it was a good month because we all got to take part in our competition, our brand new competition on the Creative Expressions official group. And in January we set you the mission of sharing with us your creations made with the Jamie Rodgers Crafts brand of products, whether that may be our dies, our stamps, our stencils, whatever it may be. If it carried that emblem, if it carried that name, you was allowed to get creative with it and share with us using hashtag January to be entered into the competition to win a £75 goodie bag of products from Creative Expressions. Now, I have the absolute delight this evening of telling you that our independent adjudicatory lottery picky thingy thing, it's got a name and I've forgot it.
Very technical.
Well, random generator, that's what I was trying to come up with. Tracy in our office, she sits in, she types in all of the names, it spins round, it tells us who's won. It's very cool, I like it. Anyway, that has chosen our lovely Nikki Carroll as our winner for January. So Nikki, if you are with us, please can you pop us an email telling us where you'd like your prize sent to. Now Peter, the mind has once again gone blank, as it does whenever we talk email addresses. This is why you do this bit and I don't. Where's it got to go?
If you can send it to jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com, please, Nikki, that'd be good, and we will sort that out for you.
That'll do. Too many email addresses, like postcodes. Don't ask me postcodes, I can't remember them either. Other than the one where I lived when I was like 12, then that is embedded. CM7 5RF. I can do that. Any others? Not a clue. I went for a blood test recently and the woman asked me there for my address. She was very bamboozled. Why I say woman, the nurse asked me for my address. She was very bamboozled that I didn't know my own address. So yeah, memory is kind of becoming slightly worrying. Anyway, we digress. You don't need to know about this. Possibly the doctor does. Anyway, so now we're moving to February, and February is going to be a brand new competition for you. So if you didn't win in January, and over 25 of you entered, which was lovely, thank you very, very much, then February might be your moment to shine. We would love to see you take part in February's challenge. And this month, and this of course is all planned, February is celebrating the wonderful world of woodware. So we would like to see your creations made with woodware, whether that is brand new, past or present. If it's got the Woodware name on it, it's part of our family. And we would love to see you share your creations made with the wonderful world of woodware. For this competition, all you have to do is share with us using hashtag February. And this is just so we can easily find them, keep track of the entries. Now, one thing I am going to really ask you to do for me, every couple of days I see Tracy, she's wandering around here in the building somewhere, and she goes, they're not putting descriptions on their post, Jamie. Remind them to put descriptions on the post. So please do me a favour, save me from Tracy. Put descriptions on your post. Tracy's probably watching this. She will probably comment and go along and go, yes, I am guilty of that. So do me a favour, save me from Tracy. Pop on your descriptions for your shares. It just means that when they come through to Tracy for her to accept them and approve them and to monitor them and put them into the right categories for the competitions, she knows that you're in the right place and that you've actually used the right product. It doesn't have to be war and peace, just a little bit of gumption about what you've been using would really help us. So just a little brief description, just the high points of what you've been up to for your project would be lovely. As always, the project could be anything. It could be scrapbooking, home decor, card making, whatever you wish to be, and it just has to be shared with us on the group by the end of February. It is a short month this month, so of course you've got till the 28th of February to get your entries into us. Don't forget, use hashtag February and you too could win a £75 gift bag full of goodies from the wonderful world of Creative Expressions. So, before we move on to our new bits, one last thing I want to talk to you about. Some of you might be tuning in tonight expecting a stockist launch for, wait there, because I've laid them all out of it. I don't know why, I knew I was going to do this. Let me just gather them quickly. Our wonderful world of shabby chic. Now this of course was on Hobby Maker on Saturday. If you did purchase on Hobby Maker, I can tell you, what do you reckon? 90% of the orders left today?
Yes.
About 90%, higher than that maybe.
Several hundred left the building today, didn't they?
But our little elves, they have been working their fingers to the bone. So about 90% of the orders, literally sacks after sacks after sacks left with Royal Mail today. So they will be en route to you. The Shabby Chic collection will be launching tomorrow with our stockists at 10 a.m. Tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. we will be doing a stockist launch live with this collection, and we will delve into it in more detail. We'll do more demos for you. We'll chat prices, we'll chat all of the info you need to know about it. But it would be unfair for me to not give you a rundown of the stockists that have this launching tomorrow morning. I will tell you again tomorrow night, do not fear. But if you are already looking to find these items with a stockist, let's do a quick run through for you. So in New Zealand, they will be available from Picture Stamps. In Australia, they will be available from J-Craft. In Canada, they will be available from the Paper and Ink Boutique. In the UK, be prepared for this is a list. The Craft Box, Hazel's Craft, Gilly's Crafts, Glitter Bits Crafts and Gifts, Craft Bliss, Cheshire Crafts, Into Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, The Art of Craft, and Hadrian's Hobbies, and Craft Mania. And then of course they are still available. When I say they're still available, they might still be available with Hobby Maker. And I'm going to be honest with you, because you know us, we always genuinely believe honesty is the best policy. You've just heard the list of stockists that have taken this collection. And I said to Pete when we wrote this out a little while ago, this is probably the longest list of stockists we've shared with you for a very long time. Everybody has fallen in love with this collection. It did phenomenally well on the TV. It's done phenomenally well with the stockists. Genuinely, I was in the warehouse getting these out of the racks just moments ago. There's not a lot left here at HQ, and I'm not doing some kind of trickery to try and get you to spend more or buy quicker or anything else. And I'll be honest with you, if it sells out, we'll reorder it. We always do. So it will come back again, but it will be, well, about 2 months normally. Maybe 6 weeks? 6 weeks is probably a fairer time period. If it is something you've been keeping an eye on, something you've been looking forward to, something you've seen on the sneaky peek last week, something you've watched on the shows this week and you're thinking, I want to get hold of it, these stockists we've mentioned, they've got stock, but when they come back to reorder, not all of them are necessarily going to be as lucky as we'd like them to be. The other one to mention, of course, is Unicorn Crafts. They have this available too because they had it for their demo day on Saturday. So if you are looking after or looking for them items, then do keep an eye on those stockists. As of 10 a.m. tomorrow, they'll start talking about them and telling you that they've got them available. Okay, so no further ado, shall we dive on in and have a little look at Norman's world? Now, if you don't know about Norman, just before we do, because I keep talking about Norman, who is Norman if you've never heard of Norman? Norman is Francois Reed's incredible character that she has designed for Woodware. And I know she's with us this evening, so you're going to have to help me out here a little bit. I've just confessed I can't remember where I live, let alone what's gone on in the world. How many years have we been doing Norman for? I think it's about 3 years, maybe. About 3 years-ish? 4 years.
Probably longer.
4? Oh, don't play this game with me.
We had this before.
We
last
did.
week.
I'm going to go for 4 years. Francoise, if you're here with us, tell us if I'm anywhere near the right timeline. You will know much better than I do. But I think maybe 4 years-ish. But Norman and his family and his friends and all of his little characters in his little world have kind of come to us in different scenarios over that time. And we've had everything from wizards to Christmas Norman to you name it. I think there's about 60 different Normans. And we've actually, because of course, as many of you know, it kind of Woodware was always part of Creative Expressions. When Creative Expressions kind of closed, when the owners retired, Woodware was kind of no more. And then we come in and said, well, actually, we're going to bring back Creative Expressions. We're going to bring back Woodware. And we have actually tried to rebuild quite a lot of the Norman catalogue, as well as a lot of the other Woodware items. So a lot of the Normans are now back in stock. 7 years?
2019.
You're kidding me. 7 years. 7 years of Norman. Wow, that's going some, isn't it? But so new Normans are joining the family and new Normas as well. So lots to get through. So let's have a little look, shall we? Without me keep waffling on and going down memory lane. So this one is of course Norman as a scarecrow joining in our family. And this one's official name, let's give you his official name. Oh, that's good, Scarecrow Norman, that was easy, even I can do that one. So Scarecrow Norman, as you can see, he's an A6 stamp, and in here we have got our little row of carrots down the bottom here. Carrots run through this collection quite beautifully. It really is lovely how Francoise has done that for us. We've then of course got the actual scarecrow here ready to kind of colour in and build up. We've got our little pumpkins, our little hearts, our little buttons. We've got a little piece of foliage as well to potentially build up around that scene if you want to. I love the way the birds have landed on the scarecrow as well, perfectly fitting in. And then we've got keep watching, hello friend, and hey there as sentiments running through it. As we move on, every scarecrow of course needs a farmer. So let's have a little look. This one, of course, is Farmer Norman. I'm liking the names on these. These are easy for me to remember. I'm impressed by this. Farmer Norman, again, he's even got a little chicken on his head. Nothing says more farmery than a chicken sat on his head. I love that. He's then got little carrots poking out of his beard as well, and he's ready to go out on the farm in his little tractor. I love these little tractors. These are so super cute. I love them. They're adorable. Then also he's got some sentiments. Old MacDonald had a farm and the good life. Perfect sentiments to run in with it, and as you're going to see throughout the collection, we've got matching fonts and sizes to run through to build up bigger sentiments if that's what you'd like to do with them. It's just a lovely little quirky bit that Francoise does, which means everything's going to coordinate through for us. Then we move on to Norma. So of course, in our little world, this is Norman's wife. It doesn't have to be, but it is in our little head. Norma, this time has got have a beautiful day and birthday wishes as her sentiments. She is wearing the most beautiful strawberry hat. So to go alongside it is a strawberry. We've got some extra flowers. We've got some little bumblebees. And hidden down here, we've got a little bunny to go alongside that too. So we've really got all the essential pieces to build up Norma into a beautiful little scene if we wish to. But of course, we can see how well Norma and Norman, whether we're going for the farm and the gardeny kind of spring feel, or whether we go for Norma out in the garden with the scarecrow, it's all going to work for you. We're telling a story, we're building a collection, we're building a library. And of course, this isn't the first time we've seen Norman in the garden. So there is original stamps that are going to work with this collection as well. But of course, this time we're building on lots of extra pieces to go with it. Our next set is the mini garden, and this is gorgeous because we've got a little row of tulips running through here. I know that Francoise has a lot of trips to Holland and see family over there, and I feel this one's kind of a little bit inspired by that. We've got the little windmill, we've got the row of tulips. I think it's adorable and very, very cute. We've then got the whole little array of flowers. Now these flowers, and I am skipping ahead a little bit, we're going to bring in dies shortly and talk more about these of plants, or little flower pots, sorry. I could see these, of course, fitting perfectly within those plant pots. So you could, of course, have your dies and your stamps really working hand in hand. This one has a little sentiment, all things grow with love. It's then also got a little border element, a little patch of soil maybe to stand, or a little patch of grass, whatever you want to be, depending on what colour you're going to use for it. So of course add in your fences and of course your flowers, and of course build up your scenes, or maybe to sit your little windmill on as well. We then go forward and we're going to go back kind of a stage because I've kind of gone off to the mini garden set. But before we go too far, let's talk Norman's house. So this one is the Carrot Cottage. Yeah, I've got that the right way around. Carrot Cottage. Now in this set, to me, this one's a true essential. I'm going to try and demo with this if we get a chance. This one I adore. I love the carrot, but look at these two up here. We have got mini Norman and Norma. How stinking cute are these? They are absolutely adorable. And the way that Mini Norman is even holding on to a matching carrot to run through the whole collection just works in my mind. And having him with his little mini tractor, I know I'm getting carried away, but isn't that just like super, super, super adorable? And then of course, and more importantly, and I'm sure why Francoise designed it in this sense, is of course we've got the characters to stand in front of their little house. So you've got the perfect set to build a scene with. You've then got Veg Out, It's Your Birthday, or Your Birthday, bad pronunciation. Carrot Cottage. So yeah, it's quite nice actually, isn't it? Because Stacey Solomon lives in Pickle Cottage, doesn't she? Kind of gives vibes of Pickle Cottage. I kind of like that. And then you've got You Are 24 Karat Gold. So some really nice sentiments to go alongside carrot cottage. I think that's adorable. Then we're going to carry on and we're going to look at this set next. So this is the Garden Wellies set. Now the Garden Wellies set, again, sets the scene. It helps build out that collection. Maybe you're going to go in and you're going to focus on bringing in little mini Norma and Norman and making them look a little bit like the borrowers with the nice big wellies. Or maybe you're going to use these with the larger characters and kind of build up a scene around that kind of scope and size instead. I really like putting them with the little ones personally because I think it's cute and it reminds me of the borrowers, but the choice is yours. With this one, of course, we've got our garden fork and trowel, we've got some flowers, we've got a little worm, and we've got Life is Better in the Garden and a little snail to go with it as well. We've also got a heart and a flower. Now these, of course, are separate stamps, but if you wanted to, you could turn your wellies into little flower power wellies. And what I love that we've sort of done with these ones is give you both angles or sizes, styles of wellies, so you can layer them if you wish to too deep, side by side, or of course you can do them back to back or front to front. It just gives you scope. It also means if you're going to stamp them over a background, they don't get too repetitive too quickly. Then we move on. Now this one again, true essential in my mind. This is the garden sampler, so kind of heading down that kind of cross-stitch sampler mindset to me, but it gives you everything you need in one stamp. And this, of course, is the perfect background, whether you stick with it as an A6 or whether you multi-stamp it and make it a really nice background to go behind the rest of your scenes. Or maybe this is going to go on the insert of your card and then kind of run the same theme to the outside. Maybe you're going to stamp this in light grey and have it really pale. Or, of course, you could make it the focal of your card and go to town with colours and make it really pop. But this one stamp, on this one stamp, we've got so many components that, of course, we can mask off and use individually, but are actually going to work with all of the pieces we've seen come throughout. And that, to me, is really lovely, because it might mean that you wish to use this as the front of your card. And actually, let's dig back a bit. Oh, over here it is. And take the fence and put the fence as a border running through the insert of your card instead, tying in what's on the inside to what's on the outside, or maybe doing this across the base of the envelope to tie in with what's on the inside of the card. It just means that you've got the coordinating pieces to run through that collection. So one stamp, but on here we've got seed packets, we've got leaves, we've got our garden tools once again, we've got some flowers and some bees, and it all kind of works very nicely together. Now our last stamp in this set, this one is called Just to Say, and there is an awful lot in this one. We have got To a Wonderful Friend on your special day, may all your weeds be wild flowers, plant smiles, grow laughter, harvest love. That's lovely, I love that one. Every new day is a fresh start, happy birthday, a big thank you, just to say it's never too late, best wishes, and it's a good day to pull up some weeds and plant love. Aren't they such sweet and adorable sayings, and different to what personally I've got in my collections up until now? And that's always what we're aiming to bring you, is something fresh, but something that's going to work perfectly with the collections we're bringing you. So that completes your stamp element of this collection. Now don't forget, everything we're looking at today will be launching exclusively on HobbyMaker this coming Saturday at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. I'll remind you of that a little later on again, but it will be launching there exclusively this Saturday. Now, something we are really pleased about is that we're managing to take Woodware off on a slightly different tangent. Instead of just being stamps, we are adding more dies and more components to these collections. And this is something we're really excited to see. Francoise is working her little socks off to make sure that we have different pieces to run with these collections. And this set is one I'm really excited to see, because this is your seed packet craft dies. So now, of course, they're aiming to be seed packets, but they could be potato sacks, they could be crisp packets, they could be pillows, they could be all different sorts of things. These kind of pillow-esque shapes, it really is down to how we kind of colour them and decorate them to what they become. We've then got, and this must have a proper term, and I'm sorry I don't know it, but the stick you stick in a plant where you say tomatoes. Me and Laura was talking about this earlier. We couldn't come up with a name, and I meant to ask Pete, I totally forgot. He's the only green-fingered person I know around here at the moment that I could pick on. But it is that kind of stick. But of course, not only is it that kind of stick, whatever that stick's called, it could of course be a signpost. So you might be taking that into your shabby chic and your travelling and all of them kind of bits, your journaling elements in your journals and of course your scrapbooks. Then we've got some grass and we've got some soil running across the base here. And what I love that Francoise has done is giving you different sizes of grass to build up different styles of grass for different areas. We've then got the flowers. Now down the side here, we have got the little flowers. And then we also have the centres to go in the middles of the flowers so they can look really, really pretty really easily. This is the board showing you everything you're going to receive on this set to give you a little glimpse. The stamps, by the way, if I didn't mention it, the recommended retail price for the stamps is $8.99 per stamp set. The dies, the recommended retail price is $14.99 per set. And in that set, you're receiving 11 dies. In the next set we're going to have a little look at, this is the garden pots craft dies, and these ones have got 8 dies in here, and as you can see we have got lots of different styles of pots. We've got kind of the traditional garden plant pot, and then we've got a smaller version of that, and then we've got these really cool different kind of, to me, more modern maybe if they're in the garden, or more internal kind of flower pots, if that's how you wanted to take them. This one I also feel could be very easily turned into a big bird bath if you wanted it to be, possibly by just turning this one upside down and popping it underneath to give it that kind of height perhaps. But certainly a fun set to work with. In this one you've got hearts that of course could decorate the pots as well or be used individually, and then you've got a butterfly which once again could of course bring in some height to above the displays, or could actually be a little motif on those plant pots if that's what you wanted to do with them. Once again, I feel these work perfectly with the stamps that Francoise has bought us. These lovely little smiling happy flowers to me are going to look great popping out of these cards. And I don't know why, but when I see a smiling flower I think get well soon, as well as all of the other kind of events that we kind of would use flowers for, our Mother's Days, our birthdays, all of those different reasons that we bring flowers into our cards. But it does always make me think of get well soon, that kind of sending a smile. And the nice bit with these is if you didn't want the smile on them either, don't ink it, mask it off, layer something else over the top of it, or of course pop a gem in the middles of those flowers and you'd cover up those faces if that's what you would prefer to do. But that is our die set that goes, or 2 die sets that go in with this collection. There's just 2 more elements to go. And we're going to go to our penultimate one now, which is, of course, our stencil. Now, this stencil is really cool. This is, let me dig into here, our stencil set with our 2 separate wellies. And I love the way that Francoise has done this, because of, again, not only do we get the positive, we get the negative. So whenever we think it's worthwhile, we will give you the pieces that are cut out from them. So you've got 2 different sizes. And instead of with the stamps where we've given them to you in 2 different directions, with a stencil we don't need to do that, because you can choose what side of the stencil you work with when you come to ink it, emboss it, work with it, to pick where you want it to be. So you've got 2 stencils, positives and negatives, and then in your stencils as well you've got hearts to build up with, and you've got little border pieces as well. Now these could be additions you're going to add onto your Wellington boots if that's what you'd like to do, or of course they could be elements that you make up backgrounds with or borders with. Now these pieces, again, not only are great for masking off what we've just coloured to colour other areas, but they're also great for embossing with as well. So when we go to our machines, we bring in our rubber mats and we emboss our cardstock. You could have some really cool embossed wellies that you're then going to decorate or highlight from instead if you prefer. Now your stencil recommended retail price is £5.49. Then our last item, and I should have taken one of these out of the packet already. I always hate rustling. There's a name for people who don't like rustling other than pedantic, but I don't like rustling, so forgive me if I'm now doing what I don't like on a video or a live and rustling away. But this is our Dreaming of Spring paper pad, and this recommended retail price is $10.99. Now this pad has 24 double-sided pages in 6 designs, 4 sheets of each. It's 8x8 and it's 140 GSM. And this is a really good pad. Now you might not be into Norman, you might not be into gardening, you might not be into stamping even. But this pad is one I think you're going to get a lot of joy from, because it is beautifully colour toned, it is beautiful value, and it is beautiful designs. And I love the way that you've got them same tone on tone colours, but running through 2 very, very different backgrounds. And as you can see, bringing you multiple sheets of each design. So you really can go in and pick which ones you want to be working with and use them for just about any topic and occasion throughout the year. These are uncoated, so if you wanted to stamp on top of them, you absolutely could do. You could ink on them, you could mist on them, you could do all of them different techniques that you'd like to do with uncoated papers. And at 140 GSM, they're quite a nice body to actually work with. So whether you're die cutting from them, embossing them, stamping on them, colouring on them, you're going to be able to achieve some incredible effects with them. And that little lot, that is our brand new Woodware collection. That's pretty mighty, isn't it? Dreaming of spring pad, then you've got your stencil, then you've got your 2 different die sets, then you've got that whole array of stamps that we've had a little look through as well. Now I'll hook these out as we go through them, but you can see there is a whole array of goodness here. Now if you have any questions about anything we have already looked at, please let us know in the comments and I'll do my very best to answer them for you. But if there is no questions, we will dive on in and look through some samples, because we know it's when we look at samples that we give you all of the inspiration you need to know how to use this collection. So Peter, for the first time this evening, do you have any questions?
No real questions, I don't think. One comment from Francoise, she says no babies yet.
Ah, this links into our question of the
That's what I was
evening.
thinking.
It's as if we have coordinated this, and we have not, I promise. But remember that when we get onto our question a little later on to win the cards we demo. So we're going to go via designer, or DT member, I should say, this evening for samples. Instead of showing you samples all made with this stamp and then all made with the next stamp, our DT have done such an incredible job of going all over the place with the different elements. You know, we've got strawberries that have come with Norma, we've got tools that have come on a different set, we've got flowers, we've got bees, we've got sentiments. So instead, I thought what we would do is we'll actually home in on one DT member's creations at a time and have a little dig through them and see what we're doing. Now, if you are a regular to our lives, I reckon you're going to know who we're starting with before I even say their name. It is, of course, the exuberantly talented Christine Smith that we're starting with. Christine does these incredible A6 cards. Every card she makes is A6, and she chocks on so many incredible elements in such a beautiful way. Every time I see her cards, I am blown away at what she has created. And these two, probably, before we even go any further, are showing you why. Even if you're not somebody who makes small cards, even if you're like me, you tend to radiate towards really big cards, you can understand the beauty and the creation and the effort that has gone into these cards. And also you can look at that and go, well, actually, yeah, I do make bigger cards, he's right. I don't make little cards. But wouldn't that make an incredible topper on an 8x8 card? Add in a sheet of matching paper, add in maybe a die cut or two, add in maybe moving the sentiment off to the right a little bit and maybe add a bow. You've got a bigger card if that's what you want it to be. If you don't want it to be, then this is an incredible card as an A6. And if you like smaller cards, then absolutely spot on. But more what I'm trying to say to you is you can take inspiration and work it into a bigger card if that's what you prefer. Just like when we look at the bigger cards, you can make them smaller if you wish, and I'm sure you're one step ahead of me and know that already. But to me, it always blows me away how much she fits onto one card, how many details, how many layers, how much incredible work goes into these cards. Now this time, we have of course got little Norman, our little farmer, on a bit of a spring here, but the background really interests me. The way that we have stamped, or Christine has stamped, I can't take the credit, it's not a we, not a real we even, Christine has stamped that little tractor all over the background, done some first and second generation stamping, and added in some of the sentiments. We can see the old MacDonald, old McNorman. I think I even said old MacDonald earlier, didn't I?
I wondered that.
Did I say old MacDonald? I think I did say old MacDonald. Old McNorman. Sorry, that's what is it when you read it but you don't read it? You auto-fill it, autopilot as such. But yeah, old McNorman had a farm, of course. Stamped over the top of it. I love that. And then she's even added in some little swirly bits onto his beard and really built that out even further, and not only coloured but added in those elements. Again, beautiful card, not at all Norman related, and this is what I love about our DT. Of course Norman is the star of the show, but it doesn't have to just be about Norman. Those flowers are stunning. And when we look at this card, focusing in on those little squares of absolute joy with those flowers on them, beautiful. Then let's have a little look at our next one. So this time Christine has gone for that sampler design, as you can see, but instead of keeping it as one panel, she's snipped into it. And this is great because there was me, and this is how our minds work, isn't it? When I looked at this, I said to you, you could multi-stamp that, you could go bigger. She hasn't thought, I want to go bigger. She's thought, I want to go smaller. And that is exactly what she's done. She has taken the elements out of this, snipped them down, and built up a really cool card, actually taking that to a smaller area, a smaller footprint. And of course, we cannot miss Mini Norman on the little corner here. Doesn't Mini Norman just look absolutely adorable? Pop down here, ready for his harvest to come through, his garden to bloom. Love that. Adorable. Then we move on. So another one here where Christine has taken that little row of tulips, stamped it across the background, coloured those in, absolutely beautiful. Again, if you looked at that, you would imagine, or I would imagine personally, that that was one big stamp. But oh no, it is just that one border stamp from that set that she's stamped multiple times. And that's a really good thing actually, because instead of bringing you one stamp with one flower on it, that's going to be £9 for that one stamp, instead actually having that smaller element on one sheet is going to give you a lot more value for money and let you pick the footprint you wish to stamp it out to be. Then we have, of course, got our stencils coming into play. So she has stamped, or not stamped, sorry, inked through her stencil, drawn around it with a black pen, stamped over the top. I'm going to say enchanted sprinkles, I'm guessing, been used through it, and then done some stamping with that little heart detail to give that little elegant touch to her wellies. They look posh wellies, don't they? Speaking of posh wellies, look at these. How cool are they? They are designer wellies if I've ever seen them. I can imagine some designers being after copying that idea, because that is incredible, isn't it? Little wellies covered in snails. How cute are they? If you know somebody who is into gardening, they are going to absolutely love to receive a card like that. That's just cute, isn't it? Even Pete's giving a little cheeky smile off to the side there. That's so lovely, isn't it? Now, this is impressive. Christine hasn't just gone, I've got a tractor and I've got a windmill, I'm going to plop them on a card somewhere. Oh, no. She's drawn the whole farm. And I say that as somebody who, you know, you might think, I don't know if I could do that, I might shy away from that. But actually, when you look at it, it's just a couple of little sections. It is a few sort of, I want to say vertical lines, but wobbly vertical lines. It is a little fence and it is a couple of wobbly trees. Not to dismiss what Christine has achieved, it's incredible. But I think any one of us could add in them details, because of the windmill and the tractor have done the heavy lifting. These flowers, them two elements, they've done the lifted part of this creation. It's just adding in those extra sort of swishes that's built the rest of the scene. Now, you might not wish to draw them. You might want to cut them out of paper and build them in that sense instead. But either way, what a wow card, and it really grounds those elements and brings them together beautifully. Then we move on. So the sampler being used once again, stamped, layered with some bees, layered with some bunnies, layered with some sentiments. Then we've of course got Scarecrow Norman in all his glory here. He's also got the grass been put at his feet. Now, of course, that's the die set that's been brought in to do that element, which works beautifully. Then we have got Norma. Norma is looking very radiant with her pink strawberry hat, her lovely little teal outfit going on, that lovely bow in her hair, and of course the strawberry being used in the background as a background stamp, little piece of vellum breaking up between the background and where Norma is standing, just so it isn't too heavy. That looks really elegant. Then we move on to the flower pot dies. So we've got flower pot dies being used here, and the flowers of course being added into the top. We've got papers from the paper pad being die cut for the actual pots, and we've got a little swish of that paper being used to ground it all together across the background. Then we go back to those flowers, those beautiful flowers with the little faces in the middle, those happy, happy flowers. And the plant smiles, grow, laughter, harvest, love sentiment being added to the top of it. I love these. These are such cheery little cards. They look posh to me. If posh is the right word, they look elegant. They look like something I'm going to get in a posh department store, and I like that about them. Then we move on to our lovely little carrot cottage. And of course, Christine has decided to cut this, layer this and colour it, and then add in that stick that I don't think we've yet got a proper name for. So we're going to call it a stick for now, but I'm sure one of you, much more intelligent than me and Pete, is going to give us the proper name for this stick. And she's added the carrot cottage onto it, so it does really look like that little borrower's house that's in that carrot is planted in the garden and has been kind of added to so that we all know what it is. I think that's adorable. And I've kind of ended with possibly one of my favourite cards. I think that is lovely. The way she has toned that carrot, built that up, cut that and layered that, that's a wow to me. If I received that card, I would be so chuffed. And I would genuinely frame it. But I would say that to many of these. And when we talk about different ways to bring craft into the world, you actually start to look at these and think, look at that trio there, about framing these and putting these on a kid's bedroom wall, or maybe into a piece of home decor, or maybe running these throughout a journal or throughout a scrapbook. Summer is just around the corner and we're all going to be back outside in the garden and we're going to be growing bits and bobs and we're going out again to all of those nice sunny places. This is a collection that is going to come in time after time to journal those memories, scrapbook those memories, and go alongside all of the photos and bits we take. Any questions before we move on to our next ET member?
No, I think the technical name for those tags is just plant labels.
Plant labels. Okay, we could go with that.
Kind of
Better
makes
than
sense.
stick.
Stick.
Better than stick. Got to be. So whoever rescued us for that one, thank you very much. So now we are moving on to Laura's samples. So Laura is with us. So of course we're going to be very, very kind. We would be anyway. They are beautiful samples. Laura is an ingenious part of our Woodware DT and she works tirelessly to bring us fresh inspiration. And one of the things I love that Laura does, and she's never afraid to do this, is stamp on our different papers. So this is the basket weave paper. I'm probably calling that the wrong name, but did we call it basket weave in the end? I think it's called basket weave. It's the one that only comes in white.
Woven texture paper.
Woven, of course. I know nothing.
Yeah.
I never remember the names for these things. I nod in lots of meetings and go, oh, that's a good idea, and then forget promptly thereafter and never call it the same thing twice. But you might be able to see that coming through under the seed packets, that beautiful texture. In reality, it's really prominent and it gives that image such a different lease of life by being stamped onto a different paper. She's added that little lattice die set in the background. She's added on the picket fence running across the bottom. And then we've got the little ticket on the top here, which I believe is another one of the Woodware dies from kind of previous releases, which is back in stock now. But this one, of course, has got the every new day is a fresh start sentiment on it. Now, this is cool. This reminds me of Charlie Dimmock's water features. I'm going back to potentially the 90s. I'm just getting funny looks from Peter. It's ever so funny when I come up with these little lines. He looks ever so puzzled. It's so funny. Do you not remember there being like a cascading plant pot water feature era?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the 90s. I feel it was around
the water feature, wasn't it? That was always going to be a big
but the
part
water
of the
would have
garden.
tipped for each of the plant pots.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool way of actually stacking the plant pots. It gives real garden vibes. We had a little stack like this in our garden for a little while, didn't we? Not built up properly. I mean, stacked in a corner waiting for something to happen with them. But it does. It gives that kind of in the middle, that fresh start to the year look. I love that, Laura. Very, very cool. Then we move on, and this time Laura has bought in, and this is very, very cute. This, I want to say, is this the sale die? It looks smaller to me than what I imagined.
I think it is.
You're going to have to go get one, Annika. Go on.
I haven't got my mask.
Go for a little. And then Laura, if you're here, is it smaller? Is it the right one? Have you done some trickery for us? Are we being daft? It looks very much like it's been cut, but I imagine that bigger. I don't know why. But we have, of course, got the watering can die on the side here. And then on the inside, we've got the plant pot. We've got some little flowers coming out the top of it. We've got the papers in the background and we've got the grass at the bottom. Very, very, very cute indeed. Then we move on to another one of Laura's, and this time Laura has put the little fence in. She's brought in the carrot cottage behind it. We've, of course, got Norman and Norma stood behind the fence. This, I know, I keep going off on tangents, don't I? This gives me feels of the opening credits to Desperate Housewives. I don't know if I'm going to be on my own on this. I feel I might be. But does anyone remember the Desperate Housewives opening credits when they go to cut through kind of all of the art scenes and they've got the very famous couple there with the pitchforks? It reminds me of that. It's possibly the colours and the styles. I don't know. No, I think that is the right size, isn't it? Yeah, it is the right size, it just looks bigger. So that, of course, is the watering can from the Shape Cards collection. And this is one of the sale dies that you will find on Hobby Maker and at some of the stockists as well. Oh, Pete's telling me there's only about 6 left here at HQ, so you might have to do a bit of digging if you want to get hold of that one. But that should be reduced on Hobby Maker and with selective stockists too.
He's putting me on the spot here.
The eyes went big on the side. We'll come back to the price in a minute. It'll either be £2, £3 or £4 because that was what the sale prices were. And Hobby Maker may well have a few of these left. If you want to go digging for it, the code for it is CED 2153. But as Pete says, there is literally like 5 or 6 of those left in the warehouse. So it will be down to what you can find at Stockists or Hobby Maker. And that is currently on offer at £3. Do you know a recommended retail price for it? Just put his little iPad away. Not nice, am I? Setting these little missions. Now, this is cool. We have got Farmer Norman. And not only do we have Farmer Norman looking very radiant, stamped on that lovely woven paper, giving texture. In the background, we've got this whole scene built up. And again, this is what I love about all these worker stamps. We've got those lines of soil coming through from that little stamp that we had. We've got the pumpkins coming through. We've got the corn, the carrots, and that very cool tractor making up a line across the top there. This tractor to me is so worth buying that set. I adore that little tractor. Of course, I need the set for the rest of it, but the tractor is just such a little cutie that I've got to have in my stash. Now, Pete has just been wafting his hands around at the side. The recommended retail price for this one was £12. If I caught all of the finger flashes, £11.99. So reduced to £3, did you say?
Yep.
£3 on Hobby Maker and with some select stockists if that's one you'd like to get hold of after seeing Laura's card with it. Now this is really cute. Look at these. This is the seed packets die set that's been used here. So we're going right the way back to this die set, and I mentioned to you how that could be little sacks, that could be crisp packets, that could be pillows. Well, Laura's taken those ideas and run with it. She again has used one of our fabric style papers. Now this is the linen paper if I remember right. I'm probably giving you the wrong name again because I'm terrible with names. But she has stamped on it, she has coloured it in with alcohol markers. She's added some faux stitching around it. Doesn't that look adorable? And then down the side here, you're going to see the like check tartan style paper. That of course is the reverse to the paper pad that Francoise bought out at Christmas. And I happen to have that because I'm hoping to use that in a demo. So I'll show you that when we get there. But again, bringing previous Woodware releases right up to date with brand new ones. Now another fun one by Laura. She's done again that kind of technique of stamping across in lines to make up a background. I know Francoise will say this herself whenever she brings you these little stamps. We class them as worker stamps. This is exactly what they're intended to do. They can be individual stamps, of course, but if you prefer, you can use them as a worker stamp to make up beautiful backgrounds, make up bigger borders, bigger elements with them, and they will work a treat for you. Now this is lovely. This is a little kind of pop forward card. That's not the right name, but I can't remember what it is right now. So we're going to go with pop forward card, but very easily done. I see Laura make one of these just recently and I was blown away with it. And very, very cool way to create a card that's got some structure, got some theatre to it, and of course got more landing spaces to put more elements into it if that's what you would like to do. This time, of course, we have got our lovely farmer in the middle. Now, where has this die come from, Laura? Is that one that's in this set and I'm missing it, or is this another die that you've found to include? I don't recognise that bit, but it's very, very cute. And I love the way that you've used the grass as straw, kind of to set them yellowy, orangey tones at the base here to, of course, coordinate in with our farmer. Now, moving forward, there seems a lot of cards here. You can see they've really enjoyed working with these. So this one again, we've got strips of that paper pad coming in. We've got our plant pots being placed down on the corner here. And we've got some very JCB-esque wellies, which I really like, because again, that shows that, okay, they're a wellie, but maybe they're a work boot. Maybe we're going to be doing some masculine cards for these. Maybe we're going to take them off on kind of a constructionary element too. A wellie is for more than just the garden. And that lovely JCB yellow is giving me constructionary vibes. Very lovely card, very bright, very cheery, very summery. Then we move on to our next one, and this one, again, bringing in the wellies, but we've gone a bit more grungy, we've gone a bit more dark, we've gone a little bit more camouflagey, which is really lovely, because we've got that green finger-esqueness coming through in the background. We've got the carrots, we've got the little mounds of soil, we've of course got the wellies, we've got the tools coming in for the garden, and of course we've got a sentiment saying, plant smiles, grow laughter, harvest love, which we love. Now we're coming up to the last two cards from Laura, and this is stunning. So our penultimate card, of course, is featuring Norma. Norma this time in a lovely rose dusk dress with her bright red strawberry upon her head. Out with the bunnies, looks like she's out collecting some flowers, lots of bees buzzing around. Lovely little border again using those worker stamps down the side here and paper from the paper pad coming in behind it. And then lastly, Laura has once again gone back to Norma. But this time Norma's sporting a little green number. She is out in the fields picking her flowers, sporting that lovely green-esque dress, and of course standing in front of a beautiful background filled full of strawberries, which is really lovely. And I have a feeling that Laura has done a bit of ink smooching. I said that the other day on telly and they didn't like that. Smooching, I don't know if smooching is the right word. Where you wet it and you pick it up and you put it down, you pick it up and you put it down.
I think that's acceptable. We'll take smooching.
Smooching. A bit of smooching, we'll go for that. If Gwen was here, she might be here, she'll correct me. She's down with all the lingo. But anyway, Laura has taken some smoochiness with some ink. She's added on some strawberries and she's coloured them in to look absolutely wonderful. And added on the sentiment birthday wishes across the bottom. Now, we've seen Laura's, we've seen Christine's. Let's move on to Siobhan's. Now I have seen Siobhan's, that's the only ones I'd seen previously to this evening that I've actually had a good look through. We uploaded a video for our retailers unboxing and sharing these with you, and I do know already these are beautiful, so be prepared to be wowed once again from our third DT members' creations. So this time Siobhan has taken that little panel again from the sampler and turned it into a focal element on the front of her card. She's used the tulips to go across the bottom and she's done some proper, not faux, proper stitching to add these sections together. She's added a little stitch line running around the outside of it and around the sampler section in the top there. Again, of course, keeping with that needlework idea. You can see the flower dies coming in down on the corner, and of course the best wishes has actually been added on top of one of the little seed packet dies, because these of course make beautiful little topper elements to work throughout the collection as well. Then another one from Siobhan. Siobhan has brought in that carrot cottage. She has added that in as a focal point. She's added the UR 24 karat gold sentiment across the bottom, and she's used the carrots throughout the collection to stamp a really cool background. Again, it looks like it's a full-on background stamp, another £9 background stamp, but instead it's just little worker stamps being used very cleverly to give the illusion of a larger stamp, saving you pennies and giving you freedom to stamp it to the size you want it to be. Then we bring in our Farmer Norman. Farmer Norman has once again stood proud of place out in the fields with grass at his feet, of course from the die set. In the aperture we have got little rows of carrots, of course again being built up from those stamps to give you that beautiful field look, the true home for our scarecrow. Then Siobhan's gone completely different, and this is what I love about our DT. You kind of get to the point you feel like, oh, I've seen a lot of Normans, I've seen a lot of gardens, what else can this collection do? Well, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? This beautiful lilac-y purple frame filled full of love and flowers, beautiful sentiments and extra details all being brought together to make what is really a stunning card that's very different from the other bits and pieces we've been looking at, and that's what it's all about, giving you different styles of inspiration. Now moving on to another one from Siobhan. This time she has done some beautiful stamping on shrink plastic, with the wellies, and then actually, of course, shrunk them down to give this beautiful effect. There is another frame, there is a little shaker element with some pieces behind it, and then there is the matching papers running behind that too. And of course, you've got the flowers coming in from in the die set too. Then we move on to another card with the sampler set. So again, this time sticking to a whole panel of it, but actually threading it through, so that looks really lovely, and adding a piece of ribbon and a little die cut hearts at the top, of course, from the set, and colouring it in to match. I love the ombre blending across the background, and it of course helps tie in the colours as we move through the panel in all directions. Now this is lovely. These of course are our plant pots being brought in this time, and then having a whole array of flowers added to them. Not only the flowers from the collection, but I can spot my daisies have been used in here as well. And this is great because quite often many a crafter has got a whole array of flowers, but we don't always have the pots to put them in, do we? We don't always have that grounding element to build our displays within. And I think these pots are ones that are going to come in really handy for a lot of us to give that level, that ground, that base place to build up from. Now, very clever field going on this time. Once again, Siobhan has taken her tractor, she has placed it out into a field, she's added in some stamped foliage. Now this of course is the top of the cottage, so when we look to the cottage, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that she's very cleverly brought in that bit at the top of the carrot and stamped that across the edge there to turn it into this nice big bush that's creating the illusion of we're stood outside that field looking into it to see that tractor in the distance. Of course, with Farmer Norman stood here at the front. Now you could have done that effect, of course, with the scarecrow being placed in the front as well. So it could really be a fun one to kind of build through. And if you wanted to do a multi-fold card, you could set that scene towards the back and have the farmer and the scarecrow out the front maybe. Then we move on to a night scene, something again very different from what we've been looking at, lots of fun bright colours, but actually Siobhan's taken this one and toned it right the way down, gone for this really denim-esque style scarecrow out in the field of night. Of course, scarecrows don't pop in of an evening, do they? They don't have beds to get to. They are out there working 24/7. So they, of course, are out there for the night scenes too, and it's a really lovely way to bring them into a different look. Now, two more cards from Siobhan, so let's go to this one next. This, of course, is Norma. Norma is once again out and about picking her flowers, but this time sporting a nice little red number, which is great because it matches in with a strawberry on her hat. Not only have we got her lovely Norma in the front here, we've also got that strawberry coming in and tying in with a stamping over the red card in the background. And what I also really love is the way that Siobhan has stamped the bee coming down the side to make this beautiful border aspect. I know I'm guilty of overlooking small stamps like this, but I think the DT have really shown us with this collection how well these pieces come in and can really make those little finishing touches or big backgrounds that actually make these kind of creations come to life. They really set the scene and tie in beautifully. Those little yellow and black bees tie in beautifully with the yellow and black found throughout Norma's outfit, and it just ties it all together through the levels. Now the last card from Siobhan, this one's a wow to me, an absolutely beautiful one. Not only have we got the die cut plant pot coming in here, we've got the die cut heart being set in with the two different tones, we've got the flowers, we've got some foliage being added into it as well. But of course, what is really beautiful is these lovely welly boots in the front here. Now, I know that gardening is absolutely a unisex hobby, and my father-in-law is possibly the most avid gardener I have ever come across. He absolutely adores his garden. And to me, this is a perfect card I could send him because it's got that kind of masculine feel to it. It's feminine, it's pretty, it's lovely, but actually the tones that Siobhan's used really do, to me, make it kind of unisex and great for a male gardener as well as a female gardener. And that's a really lovely sign to a collection, that it shows you can use it for just about everybody you know. And whether they're into gardening or they're not, they're going to appreciate this scene, aren't they? It's one that's going to make them smile. It's going to be one that's going to make them happy. And the sentiment on this one is that life is better in the garden. I also like the little dewdrops or little crystals that have been used across the top here. And that butterfly from the plant pots coming in as a corner element just works really nicely too, doesn't it? Oh, the last one. I nearly forgot it. I'd put it off to one side. This is a wow. This is a wow. So I'm going to get these out of the way so that we can really home in on this one. This again done by Siobhan. And this is, I love these. Siobhan really, all of our DT, but Siobhan really does do these incredibly. This is a little box set. So we've got the kind of envelope, if you will, but box that is going to come in. And then she's stamped on one side, added this little windmill on the front there using the papers to run through it. Then on the inside, we have got little cards and little envelopes. Now I know we've chatted about these on a few sneaky peeks and I've kind of rambled on about this previously. But if you are somebody who is making to sell and you want to make your stall, your display, your Facebook page stand out from some of the others that are already out there, to me this is one of the best ways you could go, because it just gives that beautiful gift set feel. Now whether you're actually as a kind of aiming this to an end user who's going to take this, fill in these cards and send them out to Boris and Norris and whoever else throughout the year, or what I would actually aim for this to be is a present that somebody is going to buy and they're going to send on to a friend, and then that friend is going to have the joy of being able to fill these out and send them on themselves. So in my heart, in my head, in my mind, I feel you're giving the gift of giving handmade further down the line. Normally, we do this, and even if we sell our cards, we're going to pass them or do them for charity, whatever it may be. It goes to the next user and they make them and they pass them on to the next user and it's done. But actually with this, you're going to make it, you're going to sell it on to the next person, and then they're going to give it to the next person who's going to be bowled over by it, and then they're going to give it to not one, not two, not three, not four, not 5, but 6 different recipients who are going to be able to dig in and really enjoy these little notebook style cards, these little gifts, these little pieces of joy, these little things that are going to make you smile. And I love that idea, and I feel if you're going to do a stall this summer, or you're going to do a fete or whatever it may be, or maybe you're making for charity, that could really be a lovely way to actually set your projects out from some of the others that are already available. Now, do we have any questions about any of the bits that we have had a look through yet, Peter?
No, just very impressed with all the different samples from everyone.
They're incredible, aren't they?
They are.
They truly are incredible. And I can't say thank you enough from our side. We often confess this. As a company, as a brand, as people, we couldn't do this without our DT. The effort and work that they put in to actually create those samples is nothing short of miraculous. And although we can be really grateful for it, for you guys watching at home, the bit that is always going to kind of stick in my mind is it shows how much they must enjoy doing it. They must love doing these creations because they always go above and beyond what we ask of them. They always go, not the mile we ask, but 5 miles further. And they do that because they enjoy working with the collections and what they're creating. And I think that's so lovely for us to see. And of course, Francois, our designer, to see that not only have we enjoyed the collections, but so have the DT too. And hopefully that gives even more inspiration to you guys. Now, of course, when it gets to Saturday, Francois will be on Hobby Maker for you at 2 PM and 6 PM. That's going to be your first chance to be able to get hold of the products we've been talking about this evening. It's also going to be the first time you're going to see what she's been up to. I've seen some. They're very, very, very lovely, and you're going to be in for a treat. If you get to see her demos, which I'm sure you're going to be able to, you've got a lot of fun coming your way. I know there are different products and different families of products on the shows. Of course, all of these goodies are there, but for instance, I know that she's going to be bringing you some inspiration with enchanted sprinkles, and I always love it when different parts of the company bring inspiration from different pieces, because if she will use them in a completely different way to what I use them, or what Gwen uses them, or how Sue uses them. Not that there's an endless techniques necessarily, but just the colours she brings together and the way she blends them and the way she puts them together. I have a feeling you might see some of them being used to paint in stamps, for instance, or make up backgrounds over those papers perhaps, and I think you're going to be blown away by some of what she's going to be creating. So if you can join her this Saturday 2 PM and 6 PM on Hobby Maker, I think you're in for a real treat. Now, she is our star. She is our creative genius when it comes to woodware. So tonight I am going to try and do a demo for you, but I'm going to be honest, it's pretty pants in comparison. It is, and do you know what, I'm okay with that, but it is a bit pants. But hopefully it'll give you a bit of an idea of what you could be doing with them. So if there is no other questions, shall we delve on into a demo and see what chaos we can create this evening? See what we can get up to? So this is the one that we're going to do to begin with, if that's okay with you guys. Let's go back to the right camera. We are going to make a little multi-fold easel style card bringing in Norma, bringing in the wellies, bringing in some butterflies, and adding on a couple of other elements as well. And of course, this all comes down, folds down relatively flat. So you might want to pop it in a box. I always use a lot of foam tape and a lot of foam pads. You could do this a bit flatter if you were postage conscious or didn't want to pop it into a box, but it's going to give you a way to be able to send that if you would like to. Now, this evening, we are going to, of course, give away the card that I create, and we are going to link back into our question for the evening. So remind me in a moment, because I will forget, and I will forget to ask you what our question is. But let's actually start by making the card. I've just remembered, I've got a lot of bits to glue on, so it's going to be a good idea if we get started on building, and then I'll ask you your question. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to bring in a 7x7 card. So this is just a store-bought 7x7 card, pre-scored down the middle, and we're going to take that score line, we're going to put it out onto a scoreboard, and we're going to score at 3 inches and at 6 inches. That's going to create 2 equal 3-inch pieces. Now you can change the measurements to this. I always love the way that Gwen kind of words this. You know, we're going to give you measurements, we're going to give you ideas, but that doesn't mean this is exactly what you've got to do with them. You could take this off in so many different ways. It's just how I've made mine. I'm then going to add an extension. So we're talking about building bits. We're going to add an extension to this house. We're going to bring in a couple of extra layers. So for this bit, I've gone to the same 7-inch width as my card blank, but this time I'm going to score at 2 inches and 4 inches and 5 inches out of a 6-inch long piece. So 6 inches by 7 inches scored at 2, 4 and 5. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me the ability to have 2 extra little mountains to go onto my display as such. Now I'm going to bring in some glue, and we're going to add down here just a line of glue. Give that a bit of a squeeze. There we go. I'm going to add the glue right the way down to that fold, and then we're going to bring this part in and we're going to hook it onto that end so that now our mountains go up and down. We should let that set just a second, but we'll give it a squidge. Give it a little squidgy squidge, and then we'll fold that back up there. And we can see there that we've created our 3 mountains going in different sizes. So we've got our small 1-inch mountain, our medium mountain at 2 inches up and down, and then our big mountain at the end at 3 inches. And I love these kind of stepper cards, but something that I've never liked with them is trying to get them to stand. So I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this, but we're going to kind of do this, but we're going to add in a stepper element to the base of it instead. Quite often you see these cards done without that base part, and you've just got this element, those 3 kind of mountains, and then when they stand, they kind of, as time goes on, give in and flatten out. So I was thinking what we're going to do is we're going to add that base panel into it, because then we can add a stepper element onto the base that's going to actually keep that up and make sure it doesn't give way. As again, sure, I'm not the first person to do it, but it's a nice way to be able to make sure that stays up. We're then going to go into our papers and our cards. So we're going to be working with Foundations card, and we're going to start off with the heather to match in with this one. And we are going to go for different papers from the paper pad for this version to what I used on my original card. So in the original card, I went for this kind of magenta-y pink colour scheme, but this time we're going to go for more the lilac-y purple colour scheme that again, of course, comes in the pad somewhere. There we go, just besides the teal and just before the yellow. So we're going to go for the purples. We're going to break this up because quite often, and this is something that might just be me, a lot of what I waffle on about is probably just me. We all have different kind of likes and dislikes, don't we? But if I'm going to put coloured paper onto a matching coloured card, I often find it looks a bit OTT if I don't break it up. So I'm going to break it up with some white. So we started with a 7x7 card blank. So we're going to go for 6 3/4 by 6 3/4 for the heather. We're then going to go for 6 1/2 by 6 1/2 for the white. And then we're going to go 6 1/4 by 6 1/4 for the paper. And we're going to add that down. And then we're going to open our card blank and we're going to place that in as our base level. Now, as I start to stick these layers onto this card blank, our question this evening that we would like to know, and I promise this wasn't planned, but it is ever so funny that we're all on the same wavelength. If Norma and Norman was to get a little bit fruity and create a little baby in the Norman household, what would you call it? Male, female, choice is yours. But what one would you like to give it a name to be? What are we thinking? Fill the comments with as many names that you think fit the Norman family, and Pete will pick a winner at the end of the video or the end of the live to receive the card that we create this evening. So we're going to carry on adding our layers on. So each of our layers is stepping down. I've already glued the 3 pieces on the top together so you don't have to watch me do all of these. Now as we step through the layers, I'll give you a little rundown. We of course are at 7 inches in width as we are on all of the panels, and then of course we've just stepped down, so we're on the 3-inch mounting at the back there. So the purple is going to be 2 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then of course the white is going to be 2.5 by 6.5, and then the pattern's going to be 2 1/4 by 6 1/4. Something along them lines. It's very hard to glue stick and remember, honestly. The memory's not what it used to be. It is well and truly depleted. Then we're going to move on to the next mounting down. So this is the 2-inch mounting. Again, stepping through those sizes, and we're going to layer these onto both sides of our mountings. So on the inside and on the outside too. And this card, we have of course chosen for it to go flat as such, but you could do something very similar. You might want to change the direction, but you could do something very similar as a stand-up card instead. It doesn't have to be this way. I just think whenever we start to look at all of these layers, let's see if we can do something. You could potentially go the other way, maybe. We could go that way and have that fold out like so and have panels on it instead. And that could look kind of pretty swanky, pretty impressive. So it's up to you. But we're going to stick to the way we're meant to be doing. We're going to go that way. We're going to carry on. And we're going to bring in our extra couple of pieces here. Now, Peter, I can't see our stopper bar. We only just made the stopper bar for this kit about 10 minutes ago. Where have we put the stopper bar? Is it still on my desk? We've had a very hectic day here at HQ. We've had a very hectic week, actually, while Pete goes to look for the stopper bar. It's been chaos, but good chaos. Always good chaos. We love our little world. And we love our chaos. But where I had planned to do lots of cards, and I genuinely had, I'll show you my little sneaky. I've got loads of bits stamped out, ready to make lots of woodware creations, and I mean loads. And this was my plan. This was where I was hoping I would spend my day today, finishing some of these off and creating different bits with them. That doesn't happen here. Every day is another day of adventure, and I genuinely mean that. I love it. But you never really know where the day is going to go. You never really know where the direction is going to take you. So I haven't had as much chance to create as many bits and pieces as I would have liked to have. And about an hour before we went live, we literally had myself, Laura, Pete and Tracy all here making the 2 kits that I was going to do this evening if we get a chance. And that's what I love about this place. It's always a team effort. There's always people to help. Not everything always goes to plan, but even if it does or it doesn't go to plan, there's always a team here to help make things right and help make you get through the day. And make sure that by the time we go live or we turn up at a show or whatever it may be, that there's enough kind of content to hopefully keep you inspired and make sure you enjoy the evening or the time that you are with us or the time that you are watching us. So I'm going to dig into my stamps and we're going to find Norma. Oh, Pete's come back, he's shook his head. That's no good. Get going, Pete. I need a 1-inch border. You're going to have to make another one. You glued it together for me in the re-tracking of the steps. So is it on your desk, maybe? Oh, I'm getting a shake of the head. Did I put it in the other kit? Have a little look and see, did I nestle it? Look at the preparation here of the boxes. Let's give them off to Pete. I'll keep that one actually because I know it's not in that one. And you can see if it's in that one for me. So Norma's coming in. We're going to use some of our Black Panther ink over the top here of Norma. Our Black Panther ink, of course, is our Jamie Rodgers craft ink. It is pigmented, so we can heat emboss it. It's alcohol friendly, so it means that we can colour it with alcohol markers and it's not going to bleed. It is waterproof once dry, so we can, of course, paint it in with mica mists and all of those elite misters and bits like that, enchanted sprinkles, with no fear that it's going to have any problems in that way either. So it's a great ink to work with and to use. give that a good stamp. Oh, wait there. Come back, Norma. My goodness. Half of you's missing, girl. There we go. Oh, and a little bit up the top there. I never know with this stamp press. I don't often use this stamp press. This is a new one I've treated myself to, and you guys might know better than I do, actually. It comes with a foam mat. I'm never too sure if I meant to leave that in or take that out. Maybe I meant to leave that in. I reckon I meant to leave that in. I reckon that's still, I'm going, so I should have given this more thought. I reckon we leave that in with clear stamps and take it out for rubber stamps, don't we? That would be more logical. That's a few years since I've had to give that thought. But I reckon that's where we're going with that, and that's why I'm struggling to stamp that side, because it's not the stamp, it's the press. But it isn't the press, it's me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Norma has come through for us. Norma is looking radiant in her little outfit, ready to go and collect her flowers. So let's bring in some colours, shall we? And add in a few pieces of colour, a few elements of colour to our dear Norma. So we'll start off by picking out her strawberry hat, shall we? Let's go in for some colour. Now, I'm going to try and multitask while I'm doing this because I'm not very good, but Pete has gone off to find me a bar. So as I'm attempting to colour in Norman's strawberry, I'm going to attempt to read some of your questions. Now, I can see that Nikki Carroll asks, do I store my inks upside down or not? Well, I don't. I think you should. But we've just worked out I don't even use a stamp press correctly. So I don't know if we should always listen to my advice fully. But I don't tend to. I actually, very naughtily, and this is a you shouldn't do kind of thing, I tend to actually store my inks on their side because they fit into the holders I've got better than they do if I store them in any other way. But as I say, that isn't something I would advise. It's just something I tend to do. But yes, logically, the sensible answer, if I don't confess my naughty ways of doing things, is yes, you should store them upside down, really, or certainly flat, if not upside down. Upside down, a lot of people feel, if you're wondering, and you're new to inks and you're new to these type of conversations, upside down people think is good because it means that the ink will stay flat against the felt. So when you go to add your stamp to it, the ink is prevalent at the top there. Where, of course, if we store them flat, then sometimes the ink can seep down into them. That can actually vary on the type of ink and the type of material your ink pad is made from. So even though I'm saying, yes, you can store them that way, that isn't always a one-size-fits-all answer because it can be down to the material your ink pad is made of. And to give you an idea of that, if you're new to ink pads, if you look to my ones, these are like a felt topper. They're very hard. They're not squishy. There's no kind of push to them. They're very hard top. If you was to go for something along the lines of, let's see what I can find in my drawer. Oh, here we go. I could show you one of these instead. So this is one of our metallic inks. These ones have got a foam topper. So if you look to the edge there instead, and I give that a push, you can see that that foam is going to go completely down on itself. Can you see the difference? And that can change how your ink sits within the pad, and it can change how you want to store it because of the ink inside these pads is going to react differently to the ink in these ones and in the body of which the ink is stored. Have I blown your little mind on storing inks, or is it just myself that I've kind of bamboozled into the right and wrong answers of these? So there isn't, in honesty, a one-size-fits-all answer in my professional knowledge. But yes, if you want to, I would store them upside down, and I don't think you're going to do any harm, personally. Does that help? I hope it helps. I've tried to help. I might not have helped, but I tried to help. I tried to do some good. We'll see if that works. Okay, I'm going to come down, and I don't know if we're meant to, but I'm going to colour this part of the hat in red. And I say meant to, but to me it works. It kind of accentuates the strawberryness of the hat. So we're going to come down and we're going to colour this in red. Now, I often confess this, so this is nothing new to anybody who watches many of my lives. I colour like a 2-year-old. I really, truly do. If you've just watched me colour the top of that strawberry, you will see I am no colourist. But this is why I love Francois's stamps, because of every time she designs a stamp, she adds in all of these little details that make my colouring look better. I don't have to be an amazing artist. I don't have to do incredible detail because all of the details are found within the stamps already. So actually when we want to go in and we want to highlight them, we can do that really easily. Now I'm going to do a little colour check just up here. That's a bit dark, but we're going to go with it. They're going to be the pips in my strawberries. So we're going to add those in. But the little dots I mean and I'm referring to are all of these little dots you're going to see throughout the design around here. They just make the design really easy to go back and add in shading and depth to. I'm not going to do loads of colouring this evening because it's probably something you don't need to see me do. I've already told you I colour like a 2-year-old. I'm not going to teach you loads of colouring techniques because I'm really not that brilliant at them. But it gives you an idea of actually you don't need to be brilliant with a stamp like this because the stamp and its design is doing the heavy lifting for us. Oh, thank goodness for that. Somebody's rescued me. Thank you, Francoise. So Francoise is saying in answer to your question, I'm trying to read this again. I've lost Pete tonight. I don't know how many stars he's getting. About 6, I feel. He's left me for far too long, but I do think he has produced a bar, so we might have to forgive him. Francoise, what's your answer? Only dye inks are stored upside down because it's a liquid travelling down. Pigment inks are generally a cream, therefore it does travel. See, that was helpful. That was a much more professional answer, wasn't it? She helped. She didn't even have to squidge ink pads at you. Thank you. Thank you. I never really follow the rules, so I don't always bother to remember them. It's bad, isn't it? I shouldn't confess that. I'm kind of one of them people who flies by the seat of their pants a little bit and hopes for the best. As I said, don't always follow what I'm doing. It's not always advisable. Okay, so a few hearts and flowers coloured in at this stage to just give you an idea. Just carry on adding in your colour to Norma and making her come to life as you wish to. We'll add in a few more details around here and we'll add in a little bit of greenery at the top. Just add in some green. That's kind of a pale green, but we'll go with it for this one. We'll add in some detail to her tops there. And we'll add in some more going around these flowers as well. And then I do think the top of the strawberry should be a little bit more intense. So we'll go for a deep green at the top there. How did you get on with my bar? I feel you found one, Peter.
It's kind of a put together at short notice bar.
That is fine. It is bespoke.
That's the word.
Bespokely made, unique to this creation. We will go with that. We will happily celebrate that. There is no problem. Thank you for sorting that out. I don't know where the other one's gone though. I don't know where the other one went. Where's that gone?
That'll turn up later.
I confessed in your absence how that kit was only made mere minutes before going live. 4 of us had hands in it. It can't be that far away. But do you know where it's gone? Because I certainly do not. Okay, so you don't want to watch me colour loads. This is just a little idea of how quickly we can bring together Norma's hat to give you a little glimpse. Now, I'm not a colourist. I haven't blended. I haven't done amazing. I've literally taken an alcohol marker and just scribbled at will in the hope it looks good. As I say, in general, because of the stamp has so many details within it, because of there is shading dots and folded dots and creases and bits throughout the strawberry and into the rim of the hat, so much of the heavy lifting is done for us. We don't have to be incredible artists. And that's something I feel really helps me look more professional in my colouring if they haven't watched me do it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and we're going to die cut out Norma. I tend to colour before I die cut. You don't have to, you might prefer to die cut first. I suppose if I'm honest, I do it this way because it gives me this little piece of paper around the edge that I can come in and test my colours. Even with expensive markers, I still like to go in and check that that's the right colour on this paper, on this card, on this material before I go in and add colour and then regret that I've just kind of gone 2 shades darker or lighter or brighter than I wanted whatever element to be. Now Norma has changed colours slightly in her dress from the original card. This time I've gone more purples because I wanted it to match in with the layers on the card. So we're going to go slightly more purple and we're going to take Norma and we're going to kind of start to look at where we want her to be within the structure of the card. Now on the original card I popped Norma over to the left hand side. but my wellies pointed in the opposite direction. This time we're going to we're really changing this one up a bit. We're going to move Norma over to the right hand side, and we'll kind of show you both cards so you can see what I mean in a moment. But we're going to get some foam tape, and we're going to use this to support Norma and hold her up in position. So we know that we're going to bring her high enough up into the air, but we also want to make sure that she doesn't protrude the top of the card in case we're going to pop it into an envelope. So we can see roughly that we want to make sure that we've kind of placed the foam tape underneath the flower aspect of that display. So we're going to go in around there, and I feel that should be okay. We'll take that little bit off, we'll anchor that down there, and we'll add in a little bit more through the centre. Now I'm only using 1mm foam tape, so of course you can cut it with scissors if you prefer, but I find I can actually rip this one quite nicely and easily, and that should be enough to hold Norma in place where I want her to be. And what I quite like about this, where I've used our plain circles, the plain circle is fitting quite nicely within that border at the top. Oh, sorry, bring it down a little. Fit quite nicely within that purple border at the top. She's fitting nicely within the purple border at the side, and fitting perfectly within the purple border at the bottom. So when we stand Norma up on her first big mountain, it all kind of matches and looks quite neat. But when we fold her down, again, it looks quite neat. We're not protruding over any edges, and actually shows you that if you don't want to do all this foldy mounting bit that I'm referring to, you could quite easily put Norma onto the front of a card like so, add in a sentiment, and she's going to look pretty impressive. But of course, we've built a mountain. Let's continue decorating the mountains. So we're going to bring in our stopper element as Pete has gone and made it. I'm going to be honest, Pete, that is pretty shocking. That is, I'm sorry to name and shame. And
under pressure.
There's a lot I do that isn't spot on, so I'm no judgment at all.
It's uniquely handmade.
It is unique. Love. This end is particularly unique in comparison to the middle bit.
I think the glue slipped.
I think it might have been the guillotine more than the glue, but there is no judgment at all.
The winner of this card this evening will
have to have a note explaining you did the stopper bar.
Yeah. I'll sign that bit.
You did the stopper bar, but that's fine. Kim thinks you've had a secret visit to the pub.
Oh, I wish, Kim, I wish. Oh, a nice cold pint would be lovely, wouldn't it?
I'm not convinced you didn't down a few before doing my bar. You went on a bar crawl, didn't you, before doing that one? But that is fine, Peter. It is.
Look, it
bespoke.
Even got the right colours. That could have come back pink.
It could have come up. There is no judgment. Honestly, it is fine. Okay, so down to our next mountain, we are going to bring in another one of our circles. Now, these, of course, are our pierced and scallop circles mixed in with our plain circles. And we're going to turn this little one over, and we're again going to do a little bit like we did before. We're going to go with the idea that we don't want too much of this protruding above the mountains, so we're going to go for about that area. Sharon says, ha ha Pete, I'm often squint with my mats, that's why I love dies. Yes, he could have potentially done with a die. No, it's fine, don't worry Pete, honestly. Half of what I make is wonky. It is genuinely the joy of handmade. It is genuinely what it's about. We don't make them to be judged on if they're level or wonky or cut perfect, do we? We make them to show love and care and attention and tick boxes and show that we love that person and that we're, you know, creating something. And we do it for joy as well. And you know what? Not everything with joy is always perfectly done. So we're going to bring in the wellies. So we've taken the wellies. We have stamped these already. We would normally use a bone folder, but I'm not going to make you wait for me to find a bone folder. So I'm going to use the end of a paintbrush. It's round, it will do. We're going to round out both of our wellies. And then we're going to add a bit of foam tape behind these so that we can stick these onto our card. Now this is what I was on about with these wellies. I really like this stamp set because it is kind of a nice proportion and nice size for what we want it to be. It can be quite a big focal point if that's what you want it to be, but it equally doesn't have to be. I also really like the idea, and I was going to make a card like this, but I didn't get there. But you know I said about these bits I'd stamped? In here somewhere. Oh, I think I've got more sheets in the other room then, because I stamped these wellies back to back, and I haven't got them here, have I? They must still be on my desk. But I did stamp the wellies back to back on quite a few of them. And I really like that look of having the wellies back to back because you've got the stamps to do that with if you prefer. And this is what I love about this collection. There is so many ways you could take it off and kind of go in different tangents with it, different colour schemes, different people that you might be creating for. So we're going to bring in our tape and we're going to add this on the reverse. We're just going to trim that little part off the top there if we can get rid of that. Come on, non-stick scissors, work your magic. There we go. And we're going to place our first welly. We're going to bring this down. We're going to place our first welly, I reckon about there-ish. And then we can always move it. We've got a moment or two. I haven't pushed it down too hard. We can give that a wiggle if we need. And then we're going to bring in some more tape and we're going to double that up because I haven't got my 2mm tape here at the moment. So we'll go for some more 1mm double stacked and we're going to place that onto the reverse of this welly. And we're going to trim that a little bit off the top there because that's just a little bit prominent. We don't want that coming out over the top of the welly. And we're going to bring this in and we're going to stack it down here. Peter, you've come in shaking your head. I don't know what you've gone to get.
Some back-to-back wellies.
Some back-to-back wellies. You come in all like disheartened, looking at me like he was upset he couldn't find something. It was the wellies. He couldn't find the wellies. I was trying to
recover all these black marks that I've earned. I feel I'm in double figures tonight.
You're doing fine. Don't be silly. I'm about to have to confess to a black mark as well, so you're not alone. So we're going to bring in some butterflies. Now, two black marks actually, because I haven't cut one of these already and I should have, and I didn't. So I can't show you the colouring in of these, but I did these with alcohol markers. So black mark number 1 for me, because I didn't bring those in. Black mark number 2 for me, because I'm going to have to confess I forgot to put my grass in, which I did on the first time I made this. So you think I would have remembered. You think I would have gone, oh, don't forget the grass. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. If you're wondering, he's lost the plot. What's he on about now? In this level here, in this very bodged card, I was meant to put some grass. And I'm going to see if we can add it, because I want the grass in there. And I had to do this when I made the first card, because I made the first card and I was like, why did I not put grass in there? So we're going to see if we can do it. Because this is what handmade's all about, isn't it? So we're going to go in with a bone folder and we're going to see, not a bone folder, sorry, a palette knife. I reckon that's going to be enough room.
Whilst you're Jimmy and that open.
Jimmy and it open, you make me sound like a car thief. I just want to fit my grass in me mountain.
Bev's just popped a quick reply to it, but Kathleen asked, do titanium coated scissors work with foam tape? Because her scissors drive her mad, but I'm sure you've got a top tip or two that you could suggest. A good brand of non-stick scissors is a good idea, to be fair with you. Titanium, I think they do say titanium is a non-stick scissor. The best non-stick scissors are usually your serrated edge scissors. I know an awful lot of people at the moment are ranting and raving about the hunky-dory ones. They come in 3 different sizes, small, medium and large. They're very good. So yeah, do shop around. Tim Holtz tonic scissors, they've been good for a lot of years. A lot of people rant and rave about those as well. But yeah, I do think scissors are one of those things that actually, the more you pay for them, the better they are. Yeah, and I know that sounds silly, and I know we could say that to a lot of life, but it isn't always the case. But scissors, I do think, yeah, they're something we use an awful lot of, and it depends on what you're doing with them and how often you're going to use them, of course, and how many pairs you want and where you're going to stash them and all them kind of bits. And are you somebody who's going to save scissors for card and save scissors for ribbon and do you want fabric scissors for ribbon and bits like that? So there isn't, again, I possibly am just the rambling crafter this evening. There isn't always a one-size-fits-all answer to questions. But yes, if it was me, invest in a good pair of scissors and go for ones that guarantee they're non-stick if you're going to be cutting foam tape. If you do have scissors that are clogged up, then there are non-stick products available that you can clean your scissors off with. And I'm sure there are some very good ones on the market, so do have a look around for those. My personal choice for cleaning off scissors that are gunky is hairspray.
and you might think I've lost the plot if you didn't already, but hairspray is a great cleaner. And I'm talking cheap hairspray. I'm talking 50p a can from your supermarket kind of hairspray, which is probably now £1.50 a can in fairness. But the cheapest of cheap, the own label brand hairspray is the one you want to go for. And if you can get hold of that and you've got alcohol marker pens that you've wrote on something, or Sharpies that you've wrote on something, or inks on anything, then that is a brilliant cleaner for taking them off. Now, of course, do a patch test. Don't do it on anything that you're too precious about before I recommend you do this and you moan at me that you've ruined something. But if, you know, give it a try. If you've tried everything else and you've not succeeded, then cheap hairspray is genuinely something we use an awful lot of to clean up after inky messes. It can really save your bacon quite a lot. Very good with alcohol inks, bits like that too. Okay, so our second bit of grass that we was meant to put in before I stuck this together should be around about there. So we'll take that little bit off on the end there. We'll try and shape that into the edge. And then we'll add a little bit more glue across the edge of this. And we're going to place that into that extra piece. See if we can tuck that in behind that one. And I don't think you'd know that that grass wasn't there all along. I think we've pulled that off, Pete. What do you reckon?
We have.
Might even distract the eye from that dodgy easel bit that we've created. Oh, I don't know. We have fun on these lives, don't we? We're honest about what we do. We're honest about how we create it. We're honest about what they get up to. And do you know what? That's what it's all about, isn't it? Crafting isn't always perfect. It doesn't always run smoothly. But as long as you can have a jolly good laugh while you do it, what does it matter? We're amongst friends. If it isn't perfect, what does it matter? Okay, what we are going to do next is we're going to take our plant label, did we decide earlier? Oh, I got a nod from the left. Plant label, we're going to go with that. And we're going to add some foam tape onto the reverse of this. So again, we're just going to cut down a small piece of foam tape in a little line to go behind it. And I reckon that'll be about enough. And we're purposely, we've stamped this. I say we because I got Laura to do these. That was one of Laura's parts of my kit creations this evening. She stamped the plant stick for me, and we stamped it with All Things Grow with Love, and we purposely put it towards the end of the stick because, of course, if you were writing tomatoes, cress, lettuce, I actually just sound it now like I'm writing a menu board for a restaurant, but any of them bits and bobs on it, then they would be up that end of the plant stick, wouldn't they? So your plant could grow and not cover it up. And then we're going to bring in our butterfly, and this is our final butterfly. And the last element we're putting on this card, which I am going to be honest, I'm kind of grateful for, because this has been a card of bodging. It's been a card of multiple bodging. So we're going to quickly add on the butterfly, and we are going to give it away to somebody with an apology that it's probably not the best card we've ever created on a live, but one that we've laughed about quite a lot.
I think they'll regret entering tonight, won't they?
They might do. They might ask for a refund. Can I have a refund on that card?
I'm not having that card.
I don't want that one. Can I win next week's instead, please? But it does hopefully give you an idea of what you could be creating. So we've got our mountains coming up here with Norma on the back, our wellies on the middle, our grass now nicely jimmied into the front level, a little butterfly, and our plant stick down on the front. And this, of course, is the purple version. Now, I mentioned when we started that the very first card that we did, so I can't even send you this one and tell you it was this one we made live because it's completely different. This one is pink, not that we'd do that anyway, we'd be honest, but this one is, of course, our pink version. So again, papers from the pad, very hard to hold up two different colours of the same mountain fold card, but hopefully it gives you a little overview. We've got the pink version or we've got the purple version, and as I mentioned as we constructed them, this time because of the direction of the wellies, we've changed what side on mountain 2 the wellies are going to sit to give you a different glimpse at how that's going to look. And of course, we've changed the colours of which we have coloured Norma in to give you a different idea of trying to coordinate between the papers and the cardstock colours that have been used for this one. Okay. We're done, Peter.
Lovely Heather from Australia. She says it's a card that you will remember and a story to tell. Well, that's
don't know if we're admitting
one way of
Heather.
summing it up.
Don't know if we're admitting about that one. We might even delete the video,
We
Heather.
could.
If this live disappears, it was all down to Purple Norma. It wasn't at all, it was us. But hey, we're going to blame Purple Norma. Okay, how are we doing for time, Peter? Do we leave these poor people in peace, or do we have enough time to fit in one more? How are we doing? You're the one in control.
We could have a quick demo and then say good night, can we? We are back tomorrow night.
We are back tomorrow night. Yes, of course, we are back tomorrow night. Oof. Maybe round
maybe
two
not.
might be slightly better. Okay, I'm going to have to confess at this stage, you run off of the tray for kit number 2. Ah, you've give it back. That's more like
The panic
it.
in my face.
The panic. He couldn't find a bar. Will he find the kit? Who knows? Okay, so this one is a nice and simple card, thankfully. We might get this one slightly better than we did the first one. We will see. What drama can we do in this one? Okay, so this is card number 2 that we're going to do. And if we can make this one slightly nicer to send out, that would be a nice win too. So this, of course, is featuring our carrot cottage. It's a very basic style. It's nothing too complicated. It's very easy to do, so we should be on the right path to do this justice, hopefully. So for this one, and we're going to go back to our stamp press, we are going to bring in our carrot cottage stamp. We're going to remove Norma. Norma can go and have a little rest. She had a hectic half hour there, so it'll be nice to give her a little rest. And we'll bring in our carrot cottage. And we're going to go for the main focal stamp from in this set. So we want that nice big cottage mansion that they have moved into within their carrot. And of course we would also be using for this card Mini Norman and Mini Norma at the top there too. But we'll start off by playing with the carrot. And we'll bring in a piece of card and we'll bring back that mat, because I think we're meant to be using this mat. And we're going to place that in place and we're going to anchor it down with some magnets. And we're going to check that we're in an alright position. That'll do. We're going to find our ink pad that we placed off somewhere to one side and we'll give that a good inking. Sharon reckons we make her giggle. That's a good thing in life, isn't it?
It is nice. It's good to spread a smile.
Good to spread a smile. Why are you chuckling over there? What's tickled you all of a sudden?
You said you're playing me a carrot.
Oh, Peter, behave. Honestly.
The carrot cottage.
This is what I have to put up with, honestly. It's not like a carrot mansion. I'd be well chuffed if I lived in that carrot. You'd never go hungry. I'd have a bit of carrot.
I love a carrot.
Walk around with a grater. Get hungry.
Grating a wall.
Just take. Well, it'd be improving the size of the rooms, wouldn't it? Not with a bigger room.
It's soon time we said goodnight and went back to Carrot Cottage.
Went back to Carrot Cottage. We don't live in Carrot Cottage. I'm sad to say, Peter, we are not inhabitants
Carrot people.
of Carrot Cottage. So you don't want to watch me colour. We've covered that base. We know I'm not very good at it. So let's bring in one I did colour earlier. And I did colour it, I promise. I'm just not very good at colouring live. When I sit and colour on my own, I can colour for a little bit longer and play around with things a little bit more. And you blend a little bit more and you play around a little bit more. Nobody wants to watch me try and colour for the next half hour to make a carrot, do they? But of course, have a watch on Saturday, because Francoise will, of course, show you lots of colouring techniques, lots of abilities and ideas with different mediums, I'm sure. She always colours like a pro. I've just flicked part of my kit behind my unit. Oh, honestly, Peter, today is not our night. Can I retrieve it? Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to the floor. Ow, hit my head. I found it. Best wishes is back in the building. Oh no, that's it. You're going to chuckle for the next 10 minutes over me hitting my head, aren't you? I don't know. Okay, let's build this card up so I can take Pete home and keep ourselves out of mischief.
Apparently we put the joy in crafting.
Do we?
Do.
I don't know about this.
No, I'm not sure.
Now I've got headache. I don't know if I can join in with this. Okay, so card colours this time. This is Hazelnut from the Foundations range. We're going to bring that in and we're going to place that onto the card blank. And we're just going to have a nice little white edge running around the side of it. We're then going to go in for Burnt Orange, I believe, which is another one of the Foundations range of card. And we're going to bring this in and we're going to layer this on the top. I always like the fact we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're quite willing to call a spade and admit if we throw things on the floor or lose things. You know, it's not always you get that, is it? So it's kind of nice that we can laugh at ourselves as much as hopefully kind of give you some inspiration. Not everything we do is perfect, is it? Whoever we are, whatever we're doing. But if we can laugh at ourselves while we do it, it's got to make life more fun, isn't it?
Heather says our lives give her a wonderful start to the days because obviously it's morning over in Australia.
Of course, that's very nice
start
to
the
hear.
day.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so on with our next layer. Now this layer has of course been achieved from die cutting our scalloped and pierced rectangles. Now in the last card we used our pierced and scalloped circles, now plain circles. This time we're going to go for the rectangles instead. We're then going to bring in our piece of paper. Now you're going to notice as I go to glue the reverse of this that it is Christmas. I know, she is cheeky, our Francoise. On one side she does Christmas, on the other side she does this beautiful check, this little gingham design. All very intentional. It means that you can use this side of the paper pad all year through, and then when it's Christmas time, when you're in the mood for a bit of festivity, you can pop on over to that side and you've got these beautiful kind of journal-esque elements covered in snowflakes and little Christmas sayings that are going to of course tick the boxes for all of your Christmas creations. I love this because it means this paper pad never leaves my desk, genuinely, for whatever I'm working on, because I love a good bit of gingham. It just ties into so many creations, works in so many different themes, and the colours that run through this pad are perfect for so many occasions too. And then of course I've got the Christmas side, so whenever we go back to Christmas that's there and ready to work. But I love the blue and the white. We've got the yellow and the white with the red and the white, the purple and the white, the brown and the white and the green and the white. As you can see, they're essential colours we go back to time after time for all of our different creations all throughout the year. And I also love the fact, and I'm going to bring in the new one at the same time, I always love the way that she manages to pick tones that work so nicely together. So we might put them on the pad slightly differently, but if you look to these purples, they're going to work really nicely with those ones. If you go to the blues, they're going to work really perfectly that run through here. Or if we go to the yellows, so the patterns might change through the pads, but the way she colours them, the shading that she uses, the style that she designs within, does truly work throughout the different pads. So if you're doing an album, you're doing a journal, and you're looking for papers to run throughout, but yet have different styles to them, do check out her paper pads because they really are lovely. Okay, we're going to take off the foam tape off of the reverse of this panel, or the lid off of the foam tape. Took the foam tape off, that would be a bit silly, wouldn't it? We wouldn't have any height. And then we're going to bring that in and we're going to place that down in the middle of our card. We're then going to bring in our best wishes. Now the best wishes is again one of our stamps. And we're going to add a small amount of foam tape onto the reverse of that, just so we can anchor it off to one side. And then we're going to build up the other side with just a little bit of double stacked height pad so that it doesn't hang free in the air. It's got a little bit of body to anchor it down to the card. And then we're going to place that coming out the side of Carrot Cottage. You love that name, don't you? Every time I say Carrot Cottage, you have a little chuckle over there.
Cute, isn't it?
It is cute. It does just make you smile. Then with our little characters, so again, these have already been coloured. So we're just going to bring in that end of a paintbrush and we're just going to round them round. So we've got a nice round, prominent Norman. And we're going to do exactly the same with Norma. We're going to round her through so she's just a little bit more prominent. And then we've got that cute little tractor. I adore the tractor. The tractor to me is just, it sets the scene, it tells a story, it's everything I want it to be. It's that little element that goes into this collection perfectly. And it is one of those smaller items that could easily be overlooked, but one I think is really one of the stars of the show actually in a kind of way, because it does help tell the story of Farmer Norman and of course his lovely lady wife who live in their lovely carrot. Okay, as I'm gluing these on, Peter, did we have any guesses? Or does nobody want to win the card? We fully understand if you don't want to win the card. It wasn't a good card, it had a lot of faults to it. But did we have any names for our baby Norman family edition?
We did, quite a lot of different names.
What have we had then? Don't leave me in suspense.
I'll go back a long way now. Let's say,
Wow.
where are we? Normie, Naomi.
Oh, Naomi's nice.
Naomi or Nikki.
Nikki
Norrie.
works.
Nigel.
Nigel. Oh, Nigel'd be good, yeah.
Laura likes Norbert.
Norbert, yeah. Norbert does seem a little bit older, maybe.
Or maybe Norris.
Norris is good, yes, I do like a Norris.
Maybe Nora.
Uh-huh. Any others?
Maybe Norm or Nino.
What was that one, sorry?
Norm or
Nemo?
Nino.
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 And Nemo won the Eurovision a couple of years ago, didn't they?
This one's Nino.
No, I know it's Nino. You don't have to say it like I've completely lost the plot. You said it like I'd completely checked out from civilization.
I feel we both have this evening.
Oh, I don't know, no more than normal. But it did, but there was a Nemo that won, I think his name was Nemo. I'm pretty sure it was. Who won the Eurovision? I don't know, you've made me question myself now. Okay, on with our ribbon. Now this, of course, is our lovely brown sheer ribbon with that white stitch that runs down the sides. This, of course, is one of our Creative Expressions ribbons. We carry something ridiculous, like 130 different ribbons, something along them lines. I can tell you now I need more of that one because it's one of my favourites. So I need to pinch another reel of that one. But it is one of my faves. I love those stitched ones and the sheer ribbon-esque bit that really... I like the way that it lets the card come through from underneath and the tones matching much more subtly when the white's coming through it with the papers and bits like that. So to me, it just kind of works. I've also added Norman's hat, slightly darker brown, on this one, knowing that I was going to add in the ribbon to coordinate. But it gives you a little glimpse of what you could do with cottage or carrot cottage. And of course, the mini Norman and Norma and tractor set. I hope that gives you a bit of inspiration. That one went together a little bit easier than the first one. So I'm hoping that that gave you a little bit more faith in what you could be doing with them because they're such a fun collection to work with. And I think you're going to have an awful lot of fun if this is a collection that you go for. So just to recap quickly before we let you all go, because we are back again tomorrow evening and you don't want us going on all night, do you? Not if you've got 2 nights in a row. But it is nice for you to have a little recap. And if you've got any questions, pop them in now and we'll do our best to answer them for you. Peter, if you haven't already, please do pick your winner for your name competition. And we will go through that in a moment, but let's do a little overview of what this collection entails in case you missed us earlier when we run through it all. So of course we are looking at woodware and we are looking at the wonderful world of Norman and friends or family as such. This time Norman and Norma are out in the garden having a wonderful time doing a little bit of spring floral planting and a little bit of gardening and a little bit of farmer-ness. So here we have got Norma out in her strawberry finest, picking some flowers with a few sentiments. Then we have got our lovely welly boots and the tools. This little stamp is the one that was used to make that little field behind the farmer Norman that looked really cute. This, of course, is the little snail that was stamped all over the wellies that looked really, really elegant. Then you've got your sentiment set, which gives you all of the matching sentiments to, of course, run through this collection, sticking to the same font, style, sizes that you're seeing in the stamps, which come throughout the set. So if you want more additions to, of course, run from your envelopes to your tags to the insert of your card, it's all going to tie together for you because it's all very, very similar, which is just what we need, isn't it? Then we've got that sampler picture. This is lovely because, again, we could stamp it and make up the backgrounds to go behind our characters. We can, of course, like a lot of the DT members did, we can cut into it and use smaller elements from it if we prefer, but it just coordinates. It all matches perfectly for us. Then I think you've possibly picked up that this is one of my favourites. I do love the carrot cottage. It's just so super cute, especially with the little miniature Norma and Norman. I think they work really well. And again, the little mini carrots, of course, we see, I believe it was Siobhan who did that lovely stamped background with those. And you've got Veg Out, It's Your Birthday and Carrot Cottage and You Are 24 Carrot Gold, which I think are adorable. Then we have got our lovely Scarecrow Norman with the keep watching, hello friend, hey there, the little row of carrots, the pumpkin, the button, all coming together to help build that scene. Then we've got the true essentials. This again to me is something I really need. We've got our picket fence, we've got our row of tulips, we've got our windmill. We've of course got those smiling happy flowers, which I think you'll agree when we see what the DT had created with them. They've done so many amazing things with those. The little patch of soil to also go underneath the flowers, and all things grow with love sentiment, which is the one I used on my card. We've then got Old McNorman had a farm, I'm going to get it right this time, with the good life underneath it, and of course our lovely Norman centre stage. Don't miss the tractor, it does come in this set. I think you've picked up that I'm kind of obsessed by that tractor. This is the set you're going to need to get your hands on that one if that's one you would like to get hold of. Then you've got your 2 die sets, you've got your plant pots and your seed packets. These I think are going to be a bit of a sleeper hit. I have a feeling you're going to love these, and that these are going to go very, very quickly, because you've got your grass, you've got your soil, you've of course got your packaging, you've got your flowers, we've got our plant stick, and we've got these beautiful plant pots that, as we see through lots of the DT cards, can be built up in so many amazing ways. Then you've got your paper pad. Now we use this in our demo, you can see that in a couple of colourways throughout that one, but that's going to work a treat for you, whether it's with this collection or many, many others. It all kind of comes together and works beautifully. And then last element in this collection is of course the stencils, giving you not only the positive but the negative as well, so both parts needed to create some really stunning effects. And of course sticking with that gardening welly theme that might not only be for gardening, might go into construction, could go into designer kind of wellies, could be lots of different fun things, could be splashing in a puddle, bringing back that kind of youth and fun of being out in the rain and playing. A welly tells a story depending on the colours and styles we put with it, and it can cater for everybody from the really young to the really old, depending on where you want to take it and the colours that you're going to put it with. And that of course completes our whole Woodware release, which is launching exclusively this Saturday on Hobbymaker with the one, the only, incredibly talented designer of the collection, Francois Reed. So if you can join her at 2 p.m. on Saturday, she will be live launching this exclusively. She'll then be back at 6 p.m. stock permitting to bring you even more inspiration with this collection. So that is of course this Saturday coming, the 7th of February. Now Peter, it is your moment to shine. Are you ready to give us your winner for this evening's cards?
No
Apologies
pressure.
on the cards once again. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Over to the independent adjudicator. Go, Peter.
Thank you all for joining us this evening, and thanks for bearing with us with our antics. So, keeping my eye on him. Anyway, yeah, thank you for all your suggestions of names for our Norma and Norma's prospective children. So our winner this evening goes to Evelyn Cole. Congratulations, Evelyn. She chose Nelly for a girl and maybe Neddy for a boy.
Neddy. Oh, I like Neddy.
I like Neddy.
I like Nelly too, but I've not heard of a Neddy before.
So Evelyn, if you want to drop us an email, please, to jamierodgerscrafts@hotmail.com, and let us know if you want your cards signed or put in the bin. Maybe.
Put in the bin! Put in the bin! We've been doing these lives for over a year. We've never said, do you want us to just put them in the bin?
No, but I was responsible for one of them cards anyway. Yeah, drop us an email. Same as I see Tracy's popped on there. Nikki, if you're still watching, pop us an email as well, and we'll sort your prize out for taking part in our January competition.
We won't put your prizes in the bin.
We won't put them in there.
Right.
But yeah, pop us an email and we'll sort those out for you. Let us know if you want them signed or not, and we'll arrange it. Thank you.
After all that hard work, he just so cheekily goes, oh, we'll put them in the bin. That's what I have to tolerate. That's what I'm working with here. You should feel for me. It's painful. Okay, before we let you go, one last thing I just wanted to chat to you about is, of course, it is Monday. It is Die of the Week time. So if you haven't already seen, this morning at 9 a.m, we have launched this week's Die of the Week. And this week we are looking at the pet collection and we are looking at Bailey. Now, Bailey is a beautiful dog designed by Sue Wilson. This is the set that we are talking of. The recommended retail price is $11.99. Many stockists will have this available this week and this week only with 20% off or up to 20% off. There are 10 dies within this set, and it makes the most beautiful focal point. I'm not meant to share all of the cards with you, so I'm just going to share a few from our DT, and then you will see more appear at 9 AM every day this week on the Creative Expressions main page. There is so many stuff. Oh, look at this. Look at the trio of Baileys. How cute is that? I want to share all of them with you. I'm not meant to, so you haven't seen them all. But these are the ones I've got to hand. So I'm just going to take them away quickly, and you're going to pretend you've not seen them. And every day when they appear at 9 AM, give them a like, give them a comment, and pretend you've not seen them already on the live. This one's really cute. Look at the way they've added in Sue's new tree into the background to build that up, and the little picket fence. Doesn't that look really cute, having Bailey hidden in there into that little scene? Absolutely beautiful. Who's done that one? Oh, that's Ian. Very cool, Ian. I like that. I like all of them, but very, very cool. So that, of course, is die of the week for this week. If you haven't already seen it appear 9 AM this morning, that gives you a little glimpse at what you could be creating with that die set. And again, is now available for lots of stockists, and you will find it available with some of them with a bit of a cheeky saving. If you would like the code to look for that, it is CED23077. Now, one very last thing before I let you go, because I would be amiss not to remind you that, of course, tomorrow morning at 10 AM sees the launch of the Shabby Chic collection by myself. I've put it around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. I'm sure you remember it. I won't bother to find it. You're probably bored to tears of me. But it is going to launch tomorrow at 10 AM with our stockists. If you are looking for inspiration from that, then join us tomorrow evening at 7 PM when we will celebrate stockist launch and bring you a couple of demos with that collection and look through lots of samples once again to hopefully give you a bit more inspiration. But in the meantime, you might wish to know where you're going to be able to track it down. So let's start from around the world, shall we? In New Zealand, it will be launching with Picture Stamps. In Australia, it will be launching with J-Craft. In Canada, it will be launching with the Paper and Ink Boutique. In the UK, it will be available from the Craft Box, Hazel's Crafts, Gilly's Crafts, Glitter Bits, Crafts and Gifts, Craft Bliss, Cheshire Crafts, Into Crafts, Julia Watts Crafts, The Art of Craft, Hadrian's Hobbies, and Craft Mania. And of course, some stock, but I don't think a lot, being honest with you, may still be available with Hobby Maker as well. If you have any questions, if you need any help, if you haven't heard of those companies before and you'd like to track them down, then please do let us know. Oh, and Unicorn Crafts. Unicorn Crafts had it available at their demo day on Saturday, and they of course still have it available and will of course have it available tomorrow for you as well. That list will be shared with you on the Creative Expressions main page at 10 AM tomorrow, and all of those companies will be linked. It's been very interesting when we've been talking about the demo day at Unicorn Crafts this weekend, how many of you have said, I've never heard of them, I didn't know that store existed, and now I'm really pleased I know of it. I'm going to track them down, I'm going to go and find them. This is the time when we talk about these lists, when we share these links, to possibly have a little click round and investigate all of these different stockists, because they might just be on your doorstep and you didn't know they were even there. There was one comment I see about Unicorn Crafts, and the lady said, they're 15 minutes away and I never knew you were there. And this is kind of one of the reasons that we try our best to support our stockists, to share these lists with you and to try and help kind of spread the word and unite you both together a little bit. So if you do see that list, you might want to have a little click through on it. You can of course go and check out our stockist list on our website anytime as well. It doesn't have to be on a launch day that you're going to find out those bits. Then for the rest of the week, what's going on? So tomorrow night, 7 PM, we'll be back. Sorry about that. We will be back for the stockist launch celebration of the Shabby Chic collection. On Thursday, 7 PM, Gwen will be back here again on the Creative Expressions page, and she will be bringing her take on the Shabby Chic collection. And I have spoken to Gwen, and I have a little sneaky suspicion she is going to take it to a much more shabby chic place than we have. And I am quite excited to see where she takes it. So do join her on Thursday at 7 PM. Now, something I've meaning to be telling you all night and I haven't, and I'm sorry because I should have earlier. Next Monday there will not be a Monday night natter. Me and Pete are off. We are off to Frankfurt. We are going to a trade show in Frankfurt. I'm sure many of you will have heard about it from other companies and suppliers previously, but it is the first year that we have gone as our very own brand. I'm going to be honest with you, it's something we wanted to do last year, but we just simply wasn't a big enough company, and we wanted to do it the year before, but we hadn't even launched as a company. And this year is the first year we feel we're going to put on our big boy boots, we'll go with, and we're going to pop over and we're going to have a little look and see what we can bring you from suppliers all around the world. Now, this doesn't mean that new items are going to appear tomorrow. We're probably talking next year before all of the cogs are going to be put in place to bring you those items. But it's really exciting to see that we're going to be able to pop on over and see literally big players from the world industry in the world of craft and what they're going to potentially be able to supply us to bring to you. Now, this might be new manufacturers of different products. It might be different companies that we try to distribute. It could be a whole host of different bits and bobs. While we're there, I'll try and keep you up to date with anything that I feel I can share with you. But if I can, I will. If not, we'll try and give away a few sneakies when we're back the following week. But next Monday, there will not be a Monday Night Natter. Gwen, of course, will be in place on her normal Thursday. So you can, of course, join Gwen then. And then when I come back on the following Monday, I won't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to fit in quite a bit more inspiration with this collection. So if the samples have been returned to us by then, we'll try and go for a few more of the samples, and we'll try and fit in some more inspiration with the brand new Woodware Norman collection if we can. So stick around for that too, because obviously we're going to have missed our stockist launch for Norman's creations. And then, of course, on Saturday, going back to this week and what's kind of going on, then you've got Francoise on telly. So she will be on Hot Maker at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. And that, I think, completes everything I need to tell you about. So I'm going to say good night, and I'm going to see you back here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for the Shabby Chic Stockist launch night. So from me, good night.
And good night from me. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, you've done that too quickly. Go again.
Oh, and good night from me. He won't click on his buttons.
I wasn't.
Thank you for
it's hard
joining
to
us
find them.
and putting up with us. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Putting up with us. What's he like?
Well, me.
Thank you all very much. Night, night all. See you
Night.
tomorrow, hopefully.
Bye.
Bye for now.